500 years ago, a man called Nostradamus wrote almost 1,000 predictions about the future. Many believe he predicted such world events such as the rise and fall of Napoleon and Hitler, the French Revolution, the Great Fire of London, just to name a few. There are others out there who believe the writings of Nostradamus are simply coincidence, or stories of past history, or even so vague that they could be interpreted in any way. Yet his uncanny accuracy has kept his writings alive all these years. So join me as we explore the strange, the supernatural, the psychic predictions of Nostradamus. Hi, I'm Lou, and welcome to the Nostradamus Files. The highly contagious COVID virus infected the entire world, devastating the very young, the very old, and those in poor health, leaving millions dead. COVID mandates took control of our daily lives. People were unable to say their final goodbyes to loved ones as they died of COVID in isolation. Many lost their jobs because they refused to take an experimental mandated vaccine. The origins of COVID was controversial, as those that believed in the lab leak theory were labeled as conspiracy theorists. And then there's Dr. Anthony Fauci. He immediately tried to cover up the lab leak theory, knowing that the lab in Wuhan was using gain of function on a coronavirus under inadequate safety conditions. This was also paid for by our tax dollars. Here are some predictions where Nostradamus foretold of the COVID pandemic. The outbreak of COVID started a chain reaction which led to mandates and a sham election. I would have to agree with Nostradamus. Nostradamus saw the world in masks and isolation, life-changing events we've all experienced, and those yet to come. Few people will want to be in our place. I believe this prediction is a metaphor of the COVID pandemic. A foist is a small sailing vessel, and the port of Agde is a common port near Nostradamus' hometown. Now these vessels will be carrying an infection, not faith, but pestilence. Pestilence is an epidemic disease that is highly contagious, infectious, and devastating, aka COVID. As these vessels arrive, passing the bridge, they will carry off millions. Now, small boats can't carry off millions of people, but millions of people died because of the COVID virus and its variants. First, we had COVID-19, then the Delta variant, and then Omicron. 3 waves of COVID. After that, the pandemic was declared over. Enough immunity had been built up as almost everyone got COVID. All these places are located in ancient Greece. The COVID variants Delta and Omicron were named based on their genetic structure. The Greek letter D, or Delta, and the Greek letter O, or Omicron. We'll never know what evil brought about this horrible pandemic. But Dr. Anthony Fauci's refusal to admit where it came from, his refusal about the use of gain of function, his refusal to follow the science, his refusal to admit the truth, make me feel like he's hiding more. Nostradamus only uses the name Anthony in 2 of his predictions. This one and this one. Dr. Anthony Fauci accomplished many great things in his career, but his accomplishments will forever be overshadowed by his questionable involvement in the creation of the COVID virus. Could this be Dr. Anthony Fauci's fate? Desirous of lead? That sounds to me like someone who wants to commit suicide. As COVID first erupted around the world, passing the port like we saw in the COVID metaphor, newly elected President Donald Trump appointed Dr. Anthony Fauci to the COVID task force, where he became the government's face of the pandemic. Masked and solitary people, pestilence that came in 3 waves, an unknown evil, and a man named Anthony. The COVID pandemic was yet another major event in history predicted by Nostradamus with uncanny accuracy and only seen here on the Nostradamus Files. With the world embroiled in one crisis after another, are we headed towards another world war? We'll look at those predictions next time on the Nostradamus Files.